Not long after, one of the thugs found his partner's helmet by the river, but there was no sign of him. The helmet was attached to a rope. As he pulled the rope, I suddenly shot out of the water, gun in hand, and took the thug down in an instant. One shot wasn't enough. I fired again to make sure he couldn't move anymore. With all 4 of the bad guys down, I headed back to the cabin, grabbed some plastic barrels and wood, and made a makeshift raft. The water was my only way out of here. Soon after, I came across a villa, hoping I could find some help. The owner was an elderly writer who lived in the forest. While talking with him, I accidentally spotted a photo, only to realize that this old man was in cahoots with the thugs. Realizing I'd walked into a trap, I took my chance while he was pouring water and secretly poured the poison from the thug's bag into his insulin bottle. When the alarm went off, he unknowingly injected the drug, and not long after, the old man collapsed and died. I grabbed some food and drove off in the old man's car. On the way, I passed a bunch of abandoned cars. It was clear that many innocent travelers had fallen victim to the thugs. But soon, the car ran out of gas, and I had no choice but to keep walking. Eventually, I found a gas station. I was excited to refuel, but just as I was about to, a cop walked in. I froze. It was the same officer I had reported the incident to.
Billy and I have been looking for you since yesterday. Where you been?
I threw myself into his arms, feeling like I had found someone to rely on. On the way back to the station, I flipped through the photos I'd taken, only to spot his face in one of them. By the time I realized what had happened, the car had already driven me back to that terrifying farm, and I was tied up again. John shot right in front of me, ripped out its insides, and planned to stuff me inside the bull's belly, using its bile to slowly dissolve me. I cut through my ropes, and while he approached, launched an attack, but he dodged it. In that moment, I grabbed his gun, and the tables turned. But out of nowhere, John dropped the ropes, and a man fell from the sky. It was my boyfriend. I rushed to save him, but John grabbed my gun and stabbed me in the ankle. Then, he threw my boyfriend into the basement, feeding him to the wild pigs. In the end, I was stuffed inside the bull's belly. After John sewed up the skin, he locked me in a warehouse. What awaited me was a slow, painful death.